I have learned all manner of insight over these past few weeks. The day I found it.
The Book of Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness was originally intended for release on the N64 and was even shown at E3 1999. However, due to delays, this psychological Lovecraftian take on the horror genre was pushed to the GameCube in 2002. I know now not many found this tome, and I am one of the few who can reveal its revelations. For you see, despite critical acclaim across the board, Eternal Darkness sold like poo-poo. Less than 500,000 copies sold worldwide, with not even 20,000 copies selling in Japan.
The knowledge needs to come forth. Someone needs to reveal the secrets that lie within. And no one better to do it than a less than prominent YouTuber with a dying channel.
Wait, Nitro Rat already covered it? And with more views than this video will ever get?
So buckle up, immerse yourself, and Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness begins in the year 2000 AD. You play as Alex Roivas, who just received a call that her grandfather died, and she needs to identify the body, as it's just a bloody pulp. So you end up in your grandfather's mansion in Rhode Island with the explicit goal of discovering who murdered him. You start by exploring his creepy mansion, where you'll find random locked doors, and his dining room, which contains this creepy sigil. Did no one ever notice this when they visited him?
Thanks for coming.
Oh, it's so nice to be here. But what's with the painting in your dining room? It's creepy.
You never ask! And why have there gotta be creepy whispers in this mansion? I think that's an automatic sign to stop exploring and get out!
Oh, those are just the ghosts that live here. Those are fine.
The game is abound with puzzles, and the first thing you'll have noticed is that there's a clock stuck at 3:33 and another clock that you can watch.
Yeah, I got that. I take back what I say about ghosts. They're the worst.
Putting in the right time opens up your grandfather's secret Lovecraftian room, complete with a Necronomicon, in this game called the Book of Eternal Darkness, and creepy paintings abound.
So you may now have the general gist of what the game's going to be about if you know Lovecraft at all.
That's to say, the Book of Eternal Darkness contains horrifying existential knowledge of eldritch beings. It also contains the tales of everyone who's read and delved into the book in the past.
So I guess we'll just take a little peek at the book and see what we learn.
Our first chapter begins with the Roman centurion Pius Augustus in 26 BC, who's searching for an artifact in ancient Persia. This leads him into a strange ruin where he's teleported inside and you're forced to fight off creepy reanimated skeletons by chopping off their limbs. It also leads us to our first major puzzle. Over the course of exploring this ruin, you've received 4 different colored blocks. On the wall are 4 different colored slots. So where to put the colored blocks? Where to put...
This knowledge is too much for me. I can't do it!
Past this puzzle, you find 3 artifacts to choose from. A red one, a blue one, and a green one. I guess I'll take the blue one. Sure. Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Although, he looks oddly familiar.
In the second chapter, you follow a Cambodian girl named Elia who's just like so bored and wants to explore an evil tomb. She also somehow found and read the Book of Eternal Darkness.
As you do.
More importantly, playing as Elia is when you find out about Eternal Darkness' Sanity System. Eternal Darkness innovated on the horror genre by including a brand new sanity meter. When your sanity starts to drop, your character begins to hallucinate in a whole number of ways, some more interesting than others.
Why does your voice sound funny?
Well, how do all the great orators sound? When you tell a story, you gotta tell it right.
I'm just saying. Your voice sounds all
This can't be happening!
Oh yeah, there's also this thing.
Oh, cool. Great. I hate it.
So that is Mantarok, And as it turns out, a benevolent eldritch monster who wants to keep humanity safe from 3 other competing gods: Chaturga, who's red, Ulyath, who's blue, and Zelatoth, who's green. They each have their own artifact, and because I chose blue as Pius Augustus, he's become a slave to Ulyath and is trying to resurrect the god to destroy all of mankind. Meanwhile, Mantarok is trying to help you stop it with the Tome of Eternal Darkness. Each person who finds it gains knowledge from the book, and your eventual goal is to collect the 2 artifacts you didn't choose as Pius Augustus, as well as an artifact of Mantarok. In other words,
Eyeball monster good, skeleton man bad. Purple Pumpkin Pete? How? When?
and Skeleton Man murders Elia. Cool. Great, I guess we're moving on. Next chapter sees you in Amiens, France, 814 AD, playing as Messenger Anthony. You end up in a creepy church and go upstairs to find statues.
Ugh! I hate him!
Okay. Maybe it's because of the totally not Necronomicon, skeleton hands, and faces screaming on the floor? Or it's the statues! Get out of here, Bernini! With the Tome of Eternal Darkness and as Anthony, you can now find a magical codex and a few runes, which allow you to create spells, meaning you're more badass than ever. Going even further back in time to 565 AD, you now play as Kareem, who's ended up finding the same rooms that Pius Augustus did back in 26 BC. You also stumble upon a familiar statue-filled room, except this time, there's an additional statue of Anthony. Kareem finds the Tome of Eternal Darkness, and with that, learns all of the runes and spells Anthony learned in Chapter 3 of the book, meaning you've gained all of his knowledge.
Okay. I'm just saying.
These statues are of the people who obtained the book before you just read about, and are dead. Does that ring any alarm bells?
No? Is it just me?
I guess we'll try to be the first to survive. Oh, I see.
I think I'm going insane.
Next chapter sees you back at Alex's family estate where one of her ancestors has discovered the Book of Eternal Darkness. Don't worry, my servants. Just because I'm running around with a sword and a Kimbo-style guns doesn't mean anything. As Maximilian, you discover there's a giant underground city and necropolis of Ulyath blue beings living directly under your mansion. But nobody believes you because you're a drunken mess and they throw you into a loony bin.
So we reached Dr. Edwin Lindsay in 1983.
Let's play a game. Who's the bad guy? Could it be A, this bearded, handsome Indiana Jones? Or B, this skeletal-looking man?
I haven't the foggiest.
You cannot escape me, Lindsay. This place will be your tomb.
Oh, you got me, game.
Shockingly, Indiana Jones survives and brings back an artifact for Alex Roivas' grandfather to hold onto before his demise. So on to Chapter 7. Here you're back in the past in 1485 AD playing as a monk Paul Luther, who ends up back at the creepy church in Amiens, France, where Anthony died. In fact, you run into him, looking about the same as before, to be honest. By making your way through the church, you end up at the first boss battle. Pius Augustus has summoned a giant monster to guard another one of the artifacts.
So, time to take on a boss. I think I did great.
Chapter 8 sees you play as Roberto Bianchi, who's been captured by Pius Augustus and forced to work as an architect for him. If you don't, he'll kill you. If you do, he'll kill you before you finish your work.
That seems kind of inefficient. Why would you kill your architect? Never mind.
Next up, we move on to Peter Jacob, a reporter during World War I. As you probably recognize, we're back at the creepy church, Ubli Cathedral, and the boss. Oh, I'm fine. But didn't...
ideas of your puerile civilization are of no use against the power of the planes. Magic is your only hope.
Listen, you just have to hold the sword, and then you stab me. Got it?
Oh, did I beat it? Huh. I wonder how I figured that one out.
It's his own fault, really.
Peter Jacobs manages to both survive and pass on the second artifact to Alex Roivas' grandfather. And speaking of Alex's grandfather, the next chapter has you playing as a younger version of him. Don't mind me, my servants. No, it doesn't run in the family. Swear. You know, sometimes things just happen when you're fighting.
Okay, maybe I had one too many drinks. Whatever.
As it turns out, that underground city Maximilian found is that of the blue Ulyaoth creatures I had Pius Augustus choose at the beginning of the game. But you find giant towers with runes on them, and by casting Dispel Magic, you're able to murder all of them. So all in all, Grandpa Roivas is an overall badass. Until he, you know.
So, Chapter 11, Michael Edwards.
A Canadian firefighter who somehow survives this. And this fall, ends up in the Forbidden City in 1991 and immediately obtains an artifact.
Take this. Take it to the ruins of Enga.
You want me to take this to some ruins under a house in Rhode Island?
Hold on. This is before you find the Book of Eternal Darkness. So how does Michael know this? Oh, the ruins of Engoth? Everyone knows that's in Rhode Island. The canopy of Zelvius Farunicus? Yup, buried in Deerfield, Illinois.
I mean, I can't believe you don't know where the canopy of Zettelpish Fraction is. Common knowledge, really.
Anyways, Michael succeeds and also finds a random C4 somebody just conveniently left. So he blows up the entire city, leading us to the final chapter, Alex Roivas. So let's just save the game and, no, I don't want to delete.
No, you don't, you mother...
It was a sanity effect.
You son of a bitch, game.
As Alex, it's up to you to finish the job and fully defeat Pius Augustus, who's apparently been working to summon Ulyaoth as the planets are now aligned. So, time to summon your own god, the Green God Zelatoth, who's super effective against Ulyaoth. And the day is saved, except for that you summoned another giant, horrible, evil god who's also bent on destroying the world and killing everybody. You did it! Yay!
That said, you can play the game 2 more times, choosing the 2 different gods you hadn't on your first playthrough.
And in doing so, get a secret true ending where there's parallel universes and each of the gods killed each other, thus the day is truly saved. But I never played past playthrough 1. So I guess my world is fucked.
It was interesting going back to Eternal Darkness and playing it again.
It's a GameCube game I always held dear and felt was super underplayed. In replaying the game, the mechanics and storytelling definitely feel dated, but I still maintain that the sanity meter was a brilliant concept I wish we'd see used more frequently in horror titles. My save file deleting is something I, to this day, have never forgotten.
So there you have it, the Book of Eternal Darkness. Not that kind of dark. You weren't evil?
Thank you so much for checking out this video. This amazing thumbnail was created by Alan at Lightring Design. Not only does he make great art, but I'm also a fan of his YouTube channel, VG Elucidator, and recommend checking it out. A huge thank you to all of my patrons this month, Davis McGrath, Chris Fry, and Jason Buck, and all of you. It helps make these shows possible. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out another Halloween Super Show? And I'll see you guys next time. Later.